In my test drive video of the Volkswagen ID.3, I said that that was probably the EV that most people had been waiting for after the Tesla Model 3. But what I did not know back then is that, well, that car is not even available in the United States, so I was probably wrong. But the Volkswagen that is standing here will be available in the United States, so is this the EV that most people have been waiting for after the Tesla Model 3? Well, I'm not here to answer that question because I only have this car for a few hours, so I'm going to give you my first impression. Hello there monsters and men, ladies and people, this is the Volkswagen ID.4 and welcome to Recharging. So I got rid of myself to do a walk around of the Volkswagen ID.4. What we see here in the front is a new Volkswagen ID family face. And where I was not really impressed by the looks of the Volkswagen ID.3, I do think this car looks a lot better. Well, I actually quite like the look of this car. Of course we have a closed grille because, well, it is an electric car and we don't need as much cooling. Unfortunately though, under the bonnet there is no frunk or fruit, so no storage space under there. What is a nice fact though about the ID.4, or a funny fact, is that the wheelbase is the same as the Volkswagen ID.3. So all the extra length of this car goes to the boot and to the bonnet, because, well, that one is also larger. And now we go to the best part of the Volkswagen ID.4, the rear. I really like the looks of the rear of this car. I think, well, again, it looks really good, especially those tail lights. They have those nice squares in there. It's a really nice detail. So let's have a closer look. Look at those rear lights, absolutely gorgeous. This car is the first edition, so it does have an electric tailgate with a kick sensor. So this is the rear window, let's kick it. Of course it does not work when you want it to work. Let's kick it again. And there it goes, it opens with the electric tailgate. You have some camera gear in there, but that is a boot space of 543 liters. So that is very usable for most families. If you put down the rear seats though, you will get a boot space of 1575 liters. So yeah, this is a big car and, well, big enough for, I think, most families. So let's have a quick look here at the back seats. Space-wise, well, the seat in front of me is in my typical driving position. I am 1 meter and 85 centimeters and I have loads of knee room. I can also shove my feet under the seat in front of me, so that is very nice. And I also have some headroom left, even though this car has this very nice panoramic roof. So that is all good. There's also no hump in the floor because, well, this car is designed as an EV, and also the car is very wide, so sitting here with 3 people, I don't think it will get uncomfortable. So yeah, that's all very good. Quality wise, well, ouch, it is as good or bad, however you call it, as the Volkswagen ID.3. I do expect a little bit more for a car that is at least 10,000 euros more expensive. What do we have more here? Well, we do have 2 USB-C ports here in front of me with the separate climate control. I can imagine that on cheaper models you don't have the separate climate control, but this one has. Here in the middle we have a armrest with 2 cup holders, and you also have a ski hatch in this version. So if you need to carry longer items like your skis, you can lay them here, so that's all very nice. Most reviewers, including myself, were a bit disappointed with the quality of the interior of the Volkswagen ID.3. So is it better in the ID.4? Because, well, this car is about 10,000 euros more expensive. Well, to start, the car does have the same layout as the Volkswagen ID.3. So that means you do have a little screen in front here of the driver, and then you have a big screen here in the middle that, well, basically controls everything. But to answer the question, yes, the quality of the interior is a bit better than that of the Volkswagen ID.3. Means softer materials here on the door are used, and also here in the dash you have this aluminium-like look. Of course, it is plastic, but it cheers it up a little. But the quality of the interior is not what you expect from a car that costs 50 to 60,000 euros, because, well, this is hard plastic and also down here. So yes, but I also got to say that the top of the range, the Hyundai Kona, for example, is 45,000 euros, and that is also not an interior of a car of 45,000 euros. So yeah, it is a way to save cost for most car manufacturers that build EVs, unfortunately. What about cabin space then? It is okay. You do have quite a large compartment over here with two dividers that you can or cannot use, whatever you want of course. It has a bit of a spacious feeling because you have some open space here, but it's not an open space where you can store something. The door pockets are okay, not too big, and you do have an okay glove box. So overall storage space is okay. It's not massive, but it is okay. What about the elephant in the room, the infotainment system? Well, this car does have the optional larger infotainment system. This one is around 11 inch, where the standard one and the one in the ID.3 is around 9 inch. And of course, this one is bigger, so I like this one better. It is just easier to see stuff and easier to press stuff because, well, everything is touch-based and everything is in this system. And there are some complaints about that because, well, it's not yet the most ergonomic system in the world. Sometimes you have to search or have to do a little bit more presses than you want to get to some functionality. But Volkswagen is continuously updating this system to, well, improve it and make it better. But right now I would like some more shortcuts here and there. And also, sometimes the system is really responsive and sometimes it is a bit slow. So yeah, there is still some work to be done with this infotainment system. But as I said, Volkswagen is working on it. Right now, it is an okay system. It is better than average, but it is not exceptionally good in my opinion. So I got into the car, I set a destination in my navigation system, and well, it is 18 kilometers away, and the car estimates that I arrive at 8 o'clock, and it is currently almost 12 o'clock. So I will do 18 kilometers in about 8 hours. That can't be right. No. But anyway, what's my first impression about the driving? Well, this is an ID, so we do have the same drive selector as the Volkswagen ID.3. So it is here on your steering wheel, which you get used to, but if you're not used to it, it is kind of an odd position. You do have two drive modes, D and B, nothing more. You cannot determine the regeneration, how much it will regenerate when you lift your foot off the accelerator. But I prefer B mode because, well, it is brake mode and it does regenerate more energy when you lift your foot off the accelerator. And in D mode, the car will coast more. Of course, the car does regen when you press the brakes. So first it will regen and after that it will use the physical brakes. Basically, basic EV stuff nowadays. Where did my navigation go? Why is it not centered? Sometimes I don't get this software yet. And I should not be bothering with that while driving though. Oh, there it is, better. But driving wise, this car drives really well. I mean, I was already impressed with the driving of the Volkswagen ID.3 and I am impressed with the driving of the Volkswagen ID.4. It feels really solid, really planted. I mean, don't expect a sporty driving car because, well, this is a big car, it has a lot of weight and it is all very Volkswagen, so you maybe you don't like it, but you can't really hate it either. But this is a very good cruiser. You can really eat the kilometers away in this car. And that is because, well, you sit comfortable, the steering and the seating have a good adjustability, so you can adjust it just the way you like. Everyone will find a good driving position in this car. And what is really impressive with this car is the quietness. This car is really quiet. I mean, you barely hear any road noise, and also wind noise. Yes, you do notice that more because you don't have the sound of an engine or the road, because again, there is barely any road noise, so you do hear a little bit of wind, but the car is really quiet. Again, I am really impressed. This is really a car that you can easily eat 100 after 100 kilometers away in this car. The ID.4 will be available with different engine and battery configurations, and which one exactly, you will find that right now on your screen. But the first edition that I'm driving right now does have a 204 horsepower engine with 310 newton meters of torque. With that, it can do 0 to 100 in about 8.5 seconds, and the car is limited to 160 kilometers an hour. So yeah, this is not an insanely quick EV, but it is quick enough, and I do think it does suit this car quite well because, well, it is a large car, and as I said, it is not a really sporty driving car. It's really a relaxing cruiser. So no problems at all with 8.5 seconds and 160 kilometers an hour. This car does have a 82 kilowatt hour battery pack, and the real available energy of this battery pack is 77 kilowatt hours. And with that, Volkswagen claims a WLTP range of 500 kilometers. 500 kilometers. I mean, if that is true, it would be insane and insanely good. But it is probably not true. I mean, I'm not driving long enough with this car to know if it is true or not. But I have looked at EV Database, which is quite a reliable source in my opinion for real world range figures, and they claim a range of about 400 kilometers with this car. And I've also seen some other reviews of this car, and they also claim 3.5 to 400 kilometers, and that's it. I mean, the range is good enough for most people, as usual, with 3.5 to 400 kilometers of range. But keep in mind, this is not an insanely efficient car. The charging capabilities of the ID.4 are different based on the battery pack that you have. And which one exactly you can find again on your screen. But this particular version, the first edition with the 82 kilowatt hour battery pack, can charge with a maximum of 125 kilowatt on DC. With that, it can charge 10 to 80% in about 35 to 40 minutes. And on AC, this car does have a 11 kilowatt onboard charger. So that means charging it with 11 kilowatts from 0 to 100% will take you about 8 to 9 hours. What the ID.3 that I drove earlier didn't have is the augmented reality head-up display. Well, Volkswagen had a few months to work on their software, and all ID.4s come with that augmented reality head-up display. So is it a gimmick or does it really add something? I really like it. It really adds something in my opinion. I mean, augmented reality head-up display, for the people who do not know it, when you have set a destination in your navigation, the head-up display in front of you will actually display arrows on the road itself to guide you where you have to go. So, for example, when you have to go to the right, arrows will appear on the road, and those arrows will come closer as soon as you come to your corner, they will disappear. It is a really, really nice system, and well, it really adds something, because you have to look less at, oh man, I have to go in 100 meters or maybe 200. Is it this one or that one? No. You just look at the arrows. When the arrows are close, you have to turn. Really nice feature. What is a little bit of a gimmick with the introduction of the augmented reality head-up display though is the ID light. Well, the ID light is a LED bar or LED strip that is going over the front of the car in the interior, of course, and that light will light up in different situations. For example, when the car is charging, or again when you have to take a corner, when you set a destination in your navigation display. When you reach that corner, the light will actually blink to the right. But you already have that augmented reality in front of you, so why do I need that LED bar? I mean, if it was not there, I would not miss it. It is really just a gimmick in my opinion. And the navigation instructions are not the only thing that you can see on the augmented reality head-up display, because for example, when I have the adaptive cruise control on, you will actually see a green line behind the car that your ID.4 is following. And also when you are about to leave a lane without turning your turn signal on, you will see actually a orange stripe to at the lane markers. And also when you switch lane, you will see green stripes again when the system is following the lane again. I mean, the system is really cool, and as a techie guy, I really like it. How does the adaptive cruise control work then? Well, it works okay. It bounces more between the lines than I would like to. There are systems that do that better than this Volkswagen ID.4, but that is not something that Volkswagen cannot improve with software updates. I mean, cars are a lot of software nowadays. Besides that, the car has all the safety features that you want. Blind spot monitoring, front collision warning, it will brake if it detects that you're going to hit something. I mean, it is a modern car, it is what you expect from a modern car. But again, I'm still really impressed. Well, I do really like the augmented reality head-up display, and I'm still really impressed by the soundproofing of this car and how planted this car feels. I mean, I'm driving 104 kilometers an hour right now, and it is so quiet in here. It is so comfortable. Again, you can really cruise this car for hours and hours and not get tired. It's really impressive. So I'm standing here in the middle of a business park in Amsterdam. It is not the most beautiful location, but it is almost time to return the car. So what is my first impression? Well, the car is spacious. It is really comfortable. The car feels really solid while driving. It has decent charging speed and it has decent range. So I can only say one thing. First impression is, I like it. Yes. So that was it. That was the first impression of the Volkswagen ID.4. I hope you liked it, and if you did, please give a like and do subscribe. If you did not, well, please leave a comment below to see what I can improve. And then I would like to say now, thank you a lot for watching, and as always, to be continued.